Hi everyone. Welcome to another live session by me. I thank Hoboken Library once again to give me this opportunity to teach you guys yet another dish from our Global Cuisine series. So today we'll be making Sichuan, it's a Sichuan dish and it's called Kung Pao chicken. I'm sure most of you have heard it. It's one of the most popular takeout Chinese dishes. It was originally designed by a government official in China. He was from the Sichuan province, and Kung Pao, actually in Chinese, sometimes it's pronounced as Gung Bao, is a title. And the person who designed this recipe had this title in the government, and that's why they started calling it Kung Pao chicken. So for this, I'm just waiting for a second because no one has joined. Okay, so for this I've taken 1 pound of chicken breast. You can also use chicken thighs or any other part of the meat. Chicken thighs is actually the choice of meat for most Chinese spicy dishes. I'm just trying to be a little healthy and I am using a chicken breast. I'm just a little concerned that no one has joined, so I'm not sure if this is streaming well. So I am going to, oh, okay. There we have one viewer. So can someone just comment and confirm that this is working well? Okay, so as I was saying, we're going to use chicken breast, and I've taken 1 pound chicken breast, and I've cut it into small cubes like this. So it's 1/2 inch-ish cubes. So you really have to cut it in small pieces because you'll see the cooking time is not too long on this one. So I've used chicken breasts, you can use chicken tenders, chicken thighs, anything as per your preference. So I'm going to marinate this a little, and for that I am going to add one tablespoon of soy sauce, a little bit of onion powder. Onion powder really has this roasted caramelized note that gives a nice umami to Chinese or any Asian dish. You might have heard that restaurant or Chinese takeout places will often add Ajinomoto or MSG, which obviously I'm sure you all of you have heard is not good for your health, especially in children and infants. It could cause serious damage to brain development. So that's why I think onion powder is a great substitute in Asian cuisine to add that for the umami flavor that MSG or any kind of glutamate adds. So I've gone ahead and added a pinch of salt. The soy sauce is salty, so you want to be careful with how much salt you add. I'm also adding a sprinkle of black pepper. You can also use white pepper. And then the next thing I'm going to add is a tablespoon of cornstarch. So this is it. So we have our soy sauce, salt, pepper, onion powder, and cornstarch in this. I'm going to give this a quick mix. And then the next thing I'm going to add in this is about 1/2 to 1 egg white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the egg white a little bit at a time. I have 1 egg white that I had saved in the fridge. You can also add water. Egg white is not compulsory. I just happen to have egg white and it gives a nice coating and texture to the chicken, so it works really well. If you have and can use egg white, please do. So I'm just coating this all around. I'm going to add just a little bit more of cornstarch. I don't think I added enough. So it's about a tablespoon. I didn't have a tablespoon measure in my jar, so may not have been accurate. So what we're doing here, this technique of coating any kind of meat or vegetable with a cornstarch and water or egg white mixture, is called velveting. And what it does is it adds a layer, a thin layer of the cornstarch mixed with the liquid onto your meat. And what this does is when you heat the meat, it is going to let it slow cook and not this layer will prevent the heat from directly searing your meat and helps keep it juicy inside. So while that is marinating, let's do some more prep for the kung pao chicken. So kung pao chicken is traditionally eaten with rice or noodles, and rice is the most popular way it's served. So I am going to make some jasmine rice. And I'm going to put it in my rice cooker, which I find really convenient to use. It's very easy and just really hassle-free. It does the job by itself. You don't have to watch it. So I have 1 cup of jasmine rice, and to that I'm going to add 2 cups of water. And then I am going to add about half a teaspoon of salt. And that's it. That's all you need to do with the rice. Just give it a quick mix, and I'm going to let it cook automatically in my rice cooker. So we have our chicken marinating. The rice is going on the rice cooker. So while that is happening, let's talk about what else we are going to need in the kung pao chicken. So technically you should let the chicken marinate and rest with the velveted velveted cornstarch and egg white and all of the spices and soy sauce in it for about 15 to 20 minutes. But since today we don't have that time on hand, we're going to go ahead and make it. It wouldn't hurt it. It just becomes more juicy and tender if you let it marinate for a while. For the rest of the prep, I have taken a teaspoon of very finely minced ginger and a teaspoon of finely minced garlic. So those two I've already prepped. Here I have 7 to 8 dried red chilies. Now this is really a very important ingredient in kung pao chicken, although not the most important one. I will talk about that one in just a minute here. So what I'm going to do to the chilies is I'm going to break them into pieces, and I will be using sriracha sauce in this dish. So I want to control the heat that comes from the chilies. So I am not going to add all of the seeds. So when I'm cutting them in this dish, whatever seeds get left behind, I will let them be and not add them to my dish, so that the heat is reduced a little bit. If you don't want the heat, I will tell you what to substitute the sriracha sauce with, and also remove all the seeds from your red chilies. So I had about 8 red chilies here, 3 of which I'm going to leave whole just for some visual, and then the other 5 I'm cutting into 2 to 3 small pieces each, depending on how long the chili is. So we want pieces that are about that big, and I have cut all my chilies into little pieces. So that's the ginger, garlic, and chili. The next one here I'm going to talk about, and it's the most important because this is a Szechuan dish, like we already spoke. So the ingredient is Szechuan peppercorns. And you will get this. I actually found this in my local grocery store. They're pretty commonly available. It's just called Szechuan peppercorn. And the interesting thing is that they are not really from the pepper family. They're berries, and they are like this red maroon in color. They're really tiny. They have a nice peppery, almost citrus smell and flavor to them, and they have this kick and zing, not necessarily heat, but they definitely have a kick. So they are going to add to the spicy level of your dish. So I've taken a tablespoon of Szechuan peppercorns. You can go up to 2 tablespoons, depends on your preference. So I've taken them in a mortar and pestle. If you don't have one, you can even just chop them with a knife, or you can whiz them once in a grinder or a spice blender. You can also add them whole, but I personally prefer a little crushed Szechuan peppercorns, because otherwise they are a little annoying when you bite on them. So I'm going to crush them, not into a fine powder, but just a coarse ground. Make sure it already smells delicious. The Szechuan peppercorns is like, it by itself smells like a very complicated Asian sauce or spice mix. So that's it. And there's also like coriander seed notes in them. So it smells delicious. So I have my coarsely ground Szechuan peppercorn, which is a very important ingredient in our Kung Pao chicken. So that was all of the dry ingredients that we'll be adding. So we had the chilies, the ginger, garlic, and the Szechuan peppercorn. The next thing we are going to make is the sauce for it. So I have taken just a little less than about half a cup of water here, and to that I am going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of sriracha sauce. Now for the sauce base, so there's multiple things you can do. As I said, this dish is not a very traditional authentic dish. It was developed in later times by this governor from the Chinese military from the Sichuan province. So there are a lot of versions and adaptations of it. Here I'm using sriracha sauce, but you can use any kind of base that goes with Asian sauces. So I've seen even ketchup being used. If you really want a mild sweet version, you can use tomato paste, you can use a milder hot sauce, so anything that you prefer. So but Kung Pao chicken is supposed to be a spicy dish, so don't shy away from adding more spice if you feel like. So I am going to add 2 tablespoons of sriracha sauce. I would say at least add 2 tablespoons of whatever sauce you're using. You can go up to 4 tablespoons if you like your dish to be more saucy than dry. And then in addition to that, I'm going to add another tablespoon of soy sauce. I'm using light soy sauce here today, but if you have dark soy sauce, you can also add that. It definitely adds a better color if you have that. So we added the sugar, soy sauce, and sriracha sauce to the water. The next thing I'm going to add is vinegar. I'm going to add a little less than a tablespoon of vinegar. So you really need that acid to offset the spiciness, and also the sugar kind of helps make that flavor more rounded. So I'm going to mix all of that, and then the last thing I'm going to add to this is about a teaspoon of cornstarch, maybe half a tablespoon, so a teaspoon and a half. Let me take another whisk. I'm just going to mix all of this together. You want to make sure that there's no lumps with the cornstarch, and I can show you how this looks. Sorry about that. So this is how the mixture looks. That's your sauce. Okay. Oh, and as you may have noticed, my hand has a lot more mobility now, and I already got some pre-help from my husband, but I didn't need him here hands-on today. So we're making progress. So I'm going to start heating a non-stick pan here. Normally I would use this huge wok that I have. It definitely makes a little bit of a difference to the taste. I just wanted to be safer today with my hand because I'm tossing everything with just one hand. And also with non-stick, you can really make it with lesser oil. So win-win. So I'm using just a regular non-stick pan, and I have taken about a tablespoon and a half of sesame oil in it. So I'm going to let that oil heat, and it really needs to be hot, like almost smoking hot. I just don't like the smell, of smoking oil. So I'm not going to take it to that point quite much, but I'm really going to make sure that it's hot before I add my chicken. From all the prep, there's two more ingredients that still need introduction. One is roasted peanuts. So you need about 1/3 cup of roasted peanuts. You can also take raw peanuts and fry them in this oil before you add the chicken. That's another option, but I just find it unnecessary to fry them when roasted peanuts do the job. I'm just using store-bought salted roasted peanuts because you can never have enough salt in any Asian dish. Just to, make it easy. It's a shortcut. If not, you can always take raw peanuts and roast them or toast them in your microwave. Anything works. It just has to be crunchy. And also I have about 3 stalks of green onions or scallions cut into thin slices. And I've used the white and the green part, so all of it. So my oil is smoking. I don't know if you can see the smoke in the video, and I'm going to go ahead and dump all of the chicken in my pan. So once you add the chicken, you're just going to let it sit for a while. It needs to sear, and don't move it yet. Just keep cooking it on high flame, and then we will turn it around in a few minutes. And because we cut our chicken in really small pieces, it doesn't take too long to cook it. So this is a dish that gets made really quickly, and it's yet again another favorite in our household for a quick weekday dinner or lunch. And especially during this pandemic, when we have missed our sorry if this is too loud and you cannot hear me. But we've all missed our favorite Asian takeout, and this has been our go-to. So once you, let me show you. So once you see the sides really kind of getting that sear, it's time to flip it. So at this point I'm going to flip it, and I'll show you how it looks after flipping. It's got a nice brown, it's a golden brown crispy coat on it. You can also make kung pao tofu or kung pao lotus root. Obviously omit the egg in that case. The egg white. Also for most vegetarian options, because they're already so moist, you may not even need to add any water at all. So especially something like tofu is already wet, so you can just roll it in corn flour, and also the little soy sauce and in the marinade will help mix the cornstarch in it. So I'm just making sure that all of the pink uncooked side of the chicken is on like touching the pan now, so that it gets cooked from the other side. Now again, I'm going to put it on high. Let me show you. So you can see I have flipped all of the chicken so that the pink uncooked side is on the bottom now. I could have possibly cut it even smaller. That's fine. Shouldn't take much time. And now it's mostly cooked from both the sides, so I'm just sauteing it to move it around, make sure it gets seared from all sides and all the pieces are cooked. And you can see it's almost all cooked now. You cannot see any rare meat pieces. This is already smelling quite good. Okay, so I am going to let it continue cook a little bit on another burner while I start making the rest of it in another pan. Normally this is a very Give me 1 second, it's my fire alarm. That's what you get with a smoking Asian wok. I'm going to start making my sauce here before we transfer the chicken on here. As I was saying, this is a very popular street food, and normally they would make it in a huge wok. They would just put the chicken on one side and make the sauce in another part of the wok and then toss it all together. Since we don't want to be too experimental today with my hand, I am just safely using another pan. But you can totally transfer the chicken in another dish and continue making the sauce in the same pan. Actually, you'll end up using less oil that way because a lot of oil gets left behind because it doesn't really get absorbed in the chicken. So I have some more sesame oil in the pan, and to that I am going to add my minced ginger, minced garlic. So we had 1 teaspoon of each. I'm going to add all of my crushed Sichuan peppercorns and then my red chilies. So I had about 7 to 8 red chilies. I've kept 2 or 3 whole just for visual because the long chilies look really pretty when you plate it, and then the other ones I've cut into small pieces like that. And I'm not going to add all of the seeds that kind of dropped behind in the plate, just to reduce the heat a little bit. And I am going to just saute this. And it kind of makes like this dry kind of spice mix, and it smells delicious. It really smells good at this point. So once the chilies are all the ginger, garlic, the Sichuan chilies are all homogeneously mixed, nicely coated with oil, I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken. So I'm tossing the chicken with all of the spices. And since the chicken is already cooked, you don't really need to cook this for too long. I'm just going to go ahead and add my sauce mix. I'm going to just give it one more whisk in case the cornstarch has settled. And I'm going to go ahead and add that. So the quantity of water that we added in this in the sauce mix is totally depends on your preference. If you want this to be a saucy dish with a little bit of sauce to eat with your rice, you can do that. If you want it really dry, I also like to make it pretty dry. I'll only add like a 1/4 cup of water and make it dry, and then toss it with some rice noodles. So that is another way of making this. So today, since I'm eating it with rice, I've made it a little saucy. So let me show you how this looks at this point. So that's how it looks. And I'm going to keep my burner low because I don't want my fire alarm to go off again. New York City apartments. So yeah, that's it. Once the slurry or the sauce kind of starts looking translucent, you should know that the cornstarch has cooked. It'll become like shiny, translucent, and it's almost ready. The only two things, which is kind of our finishing touch, is the roasted peanuts and then the green onions. I'm going to add most of them and just save a little bit for decoration when I plate it. And look how pretty it looks already. That's it, and I am just going to stir it up. My rice cooker just beeped, so my rice is ready, and you literally saw how this meal gets ready in half an hour. So give me 1 minute. I'm going to plate myself a nice hearty bowl because I can never have enough. I'm adding a generous serving of my piping hot kung pao chicken. This makes about 3 to 4 servings, I would say. I always feel serving sizes are so subjective because people eat different quantities. I'm going to add some rice on the side. And as I said, I will add some of those green onions as a garnish. And that's it. Let me show you how our final plate looks like. And that's your kung pao chicken with jasmine rice. Well, okay, there we go. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. And please do try it. If you try this, please tag Hoboken Library and me so that we can see your creations. You can find all the detailed recipes on my website. It's nehabhede.com. And thank you for joining. And thank you, Hoboken Library, for giving me this opportunity. And we will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.